Hello everyone, FPL Raptor here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video we have my team selection ahead of double game week 36. I am indeed on my bench boost, which means you're going to get to see the 15 players that I will be selecting to hopefully boost me up the rankings. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So guys, let's jump into looking at my team. We're not going to look at game week 35, mainly because it was a very mediocre week for me. I started at about 32, 33k, and I'm down to about 37, 38k. So it was a small red arrow for me. I didn't own Son. Congratulations if you did own him and captain him. I captained Sterling. So considering I got a captaincy blank and Son went absolutely crazy, I'm pretty happy that it was only a small red arrow. I'm 56 points off the top 10k, and I've had a bit of a reevaluation. I had a bit of introspective thinking across the week so far, and I think I'm just going to stop fixating on rank. Yes, top 10k would be nice. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. I think trying to take risky decisions just for the sake of making a risky decision probably isn't the best way to approach this back end of the season. So for the final 3 game weeks, I'm going to try and have fun with FPL because that is the purpose of playing this game, to try and enjoy it. And I'm also just going to try and make decisions that optimize my team every week. If I think that Salah's the best captaincy option, even though he's got very high ownership, I'm going to captain Salah. So that's going to be my strategy for the final 3 game weeks, and hopefully it will boost me. Maybe top 25k I think would be a fantastic position considering where I am. So the bench boost is indeed active. I'm still going to show you the starting 11 and bench as if I were setting up the team, and then we can discuss some potential transfers that I could make. I've got 2 free transfers and 0.2 million in the bank. So as you'll see in a second, I've got a few cash cows in my team that I could sell. So there are so many different possibilities. I really need your help. So let me know down below, once you've seen my final team, what transfers do you think I should be making? So starting with the goalkeeper, I have indeed got Schmeichel in goal. Everton and Norwich at home look like 2 fantastic fixtures, but at the moment, I actually fancy Everton to get something against Leicester, and I'm expecting Leicester to rotate quite heavily, obviously due to the Europa Conference League game being only a few days before. So I'm not expecting too much from the Everton game, but I am expecting or hoping for at least a clean sheet maybe from the Norwich fixture. I do own Pookie, which we'll discuss, so hopefully one of them will get something from that game and I'll be pretty happy. If Schmeichel can get me 8 to 10 points in the double, I'll count that as a success. And then the 3 defenders are pretty straightforward. Trent, I think, is a really good captaincy option this week. If you do want to go slightly different, maybe you don't own the likes of De Bruyne, or you don't think he's going to start both, and you don't want to go with Salah, I do think that Trent could be a fantastic captaincy option. The reason I say that is that Tottenham and Villa have both got very good defensive data. I think they're 4th and 5th over the last 6 game weeks for expected goals conceded per 90. So maybe you could see Salah only getting maybe 1 attacking return, potentially blanking. It's very unlikely, but I could quite easily see an attacking return and then maybe 1 or 2 clean sheets in there for Trent. So there's the possibility there. Either way, I'm very happy owning him, and I think Robertson is likely to maybe get a rest in the Villa game. Again, Klopp's been saying for a while now that he thinks that Robertson could have a rest coming up, or more so that he just thinks that Tsimikas is ready to start a game ahead of Robertson. The only reason he didn't do that recently is, of course, because Trent got his rest. So I think there's a good possibility that Robertson's bench, and hopefully Trent can start to make up some points on Robertson, because recently Robertson has been massively outscoring him. And then I've got the 2 Manchester City players. Laporte did look like he picked up a slight groin injury in the Champions League, but now people are saying that it was just cramp and that maybe he was just a little bit fatigued. He was stretching his groin out quite a lot, and then he was basically playing up front for the final 5 to 10 minutes against Real Madrid. But a lot of people are saying that was due to his aerial threat. At the time of recording this, I don't know exactly what the update is there. Even if he was just very fatigued, that does worry me slightly, because you could quite easily see a back 4 of Cancelo, Diaz, Ake and Zinchenko. They've got a fit enough back 4 to play there, and then maybe Laporte benched. But to be honest, I think if he's fit, and if he isn't injured, he should start both in the double. It might put me off buying him if I was going to. It maybe would make me lean towards Diaz, because at least Diaz is fit as far as we know. But I think Cancelo is almost definitely going to start both of them. And as a result, at the moment, he has got my Vice armband. Again, they just don't have those options. Walker looked like he picked up another injury, or at least re-aggravated the injury that he already had in the Champions League. Stones is injured at the moment, so I don't actually see anyone else that could possibly play right back for Man City unless they try and chuck Diaz out there, but it just doesn't make sense to do so. So I think Cancelo's pretty good to continue to start there, and as a result, I think if you're going to captain a City defender, if you're going to bring one in and you don't own them, it does have to be Cancelo for me. So that is the defense. Like I said, I will show you the other defenders in a second on the bench boost. Let's now move on to the midfield 4. So guys, here is the midfield four. And before you comment down below and let me know that Sterling, Havertz and Mount are unlikely to play both games in this double, I'm fully aware of that. It's obviously not ideal, but I think it's the case for a lot of players. And even those players that you think will start both, I throw back to Che Adams in game week 33 when I played my free hit. He started 10 games in a row for Southampton before the double, missed both games in the double, only played about 20 minutes, and then he started every game since the double. It just happens sometimes in FPL. You can't sometimes predict these things, and I think Sterling, Havertz and Mount in particular are definitely rotation risk. Of course, the Chelsea boys are rotation risk because they play the FA Cup final. I think it's 2 or 3 days after the Leeds fixture. So I think there's definitely going to be a little bit of rotation there. And it could be that maybe they play the Wolves and are rested against Leeds. Or if they're rested against Wolves, maybe they play the game against Leeds. But I think it's unlikely, Havertz in particular, that he plays both in double game 36. I think there's a small chance that Mount does. And then Sterling's a tricky one, right? Sterling, I've been set on selling all week, like 100% sure I'm going to sell Sterling. The reason for that is he's 10.5 million, which is very expensive, and I need to upgrade one of my striking spots, which we'll get onto in a second. And also, he just hasn't been finishing his chances, and he's definitely not nailed on. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sterling benched for both of these, but I would hope that he maybe plays one. I'd be very surprised to see Sterling start both of them, and as a result, I've been set on selling him. But of course, having seen what happened in the Champions League, Foden playing 120 minutes, Gabriel Jesus and Mahrez both playing close to 90 minutes, although they both came off early. Bernardo Silva playing quite a few minutes as well. Even Gundogan got a showing. KDB came off early. I assume that he's fit and it wasn't an injury, but that is slightly strange that KDB came off when they probably needed him to stay on the pitch. So I'm looking at it and thinking, I think there's a good chance that Sterling starts against Newcastle. And then is there a potential that he starts against Wolves? Maybe. And if not, is he going to get a little bit of time off the bench? And am I likely to transfer in a player that is as explosive as Sterling that's going to start both? Because I'm looking at the likes of maybe Foden, looking at the likes of Diaz, Jota, all of these players that I would want to bring in. I'm not any more confident that they start. To be honest, the only player that I would be fairly confident bringing in that also has high upside potential, and I think will start every game for the remainder of the season, would be Saka. However, I can get Saka in other ways, potentially for someone like Havertz. And if I look at Sterling and Havertz, yes, Sterling is clearly more expensive, but I think I'd rather keep Sterling instead of Havertz. I'm not particularly sure why. They've got very similar data over the last 6 game weeks. In fact, I actually think Havertz has got slightly better data. I just think I prefer Sterling for some reason. It might be a little bit of recency bias. I don't know why. To be honest, I have looked at a -4 where I sell both Sterling and Havertz, and I'll tell you that -4 in a bit, and it will probably be the case that you guys really like that -4, and I may end up selling both of them. If I'm going to keep one, it's probably Sterling that I'm leaning towards keeping at the moment. And then I've got Salah in there as well. Obviously, captaincy at the moment is on Salah. I don't actually know if I'm going to end up putting the armband on. Obviously, if you tune into my live stream on Saturday, I'll be going through that just before the deadline. It will probably be between Salah and Cancelo, unless I do bring in KDB, and then I maybe might risk it with KDB, but it's very unlikely I do bring him in. So it's going to be a straight shootout between Salah and Cancelo. And I think playing the bench boost, having a few differentials in there anyway, I don't think I need to go full-on differential and captain Cancelo, but I do think he is a fantastic option. So that's the midfield. Let's move on to the attack and then also look at the bench as well. So guys, finishing up with the 3 strikers and also the bench as well. We'll start with Gelhardt, right? Obviously, if I weren't making any transfers, Gelhardt wouldn't be in my starting 11. The reason I've put him in there is so that you can visualize the team, because I will definitely be selling Gelhardt, and it'll only be 2 strikers that I've got options for. Both of those would be in my starting 11. So Gelhardt is going to be going to one of 2 strikers, like I said. It'll either be Richarlison playing against Leicester and Watford, or it will potentially be Nketiah playing against Leeds and Tottenham, right? So Richarlison versus Nketiah. If I go for Nketiah, I don't need to find a lot of money at all. I think it's about 0.6, 0.7 million I need to find, in which case I can do Havertz down to the likes of Saka. It could be Maddison, Coutinho, anyone around £7 million or below. So the moves it would be if I bring in Nketiah, it would probably be Gelhardt to Nketiah and Havertz to Saka, and I would keep Sterling, and that would just be it. 2 free transfers, nice and simple. If I want to get Gelhardt up to Richarlison, it becomes a little bit trickier. I've got a few options there. I can either do Gelhardt to Richarlison and then do Havertz all the way down to KDH or all the way down to Ramsey for basically a cheap player. They would then come onto the bench, and maybe I'd chuck Alonso into the starting 11. So Gelhardt to Richarlison, Havertz to a really cheap player. I think 4.7 million is the maximum that I would have there. The other option I've got is Gelhardt to Richarlison, and then just still doing Sterling to one of someone like Saka. So I think I can still just about afford Foden if there are no more price rises. So Gelhardt to Richarlison, and then Sterling down. It would probably be to either Saka or Foden. Or I just take a -4, and this is slightly tempting for me. It would be Gelhardt to Richarlison, Sterling to Saka, and then I would do Havertz to someone like probably Jota, maybe Diaz, depending which Liverpool player I think is going to start more. Or again, I could go all the way down to slightly cheaper player as well. So those are the three spots in my team that I'm looking at. It will be Gelhardt to one of Nketiah or Richarlison, and then it will be one of Sterling or both. One of Sterling or Havertz, or both of them, that will be downgraded to fund that. Hopefully that's clear. In a second, I'm jump over to FPL.team. We're going to do a bit of live tinkering, and I'll show you some of the possible transfer combinations that we could take. And then the other two strikers are Watkins and Pukki. I don't think Watkins is amazing for this week. I think Burnley have got everything to play for. It's at Turf Moor, and of course Liverpool, very, very good defensive data. So I'm not expecting anything from Watkins. If he gets me maybe an assist in there or a single goal, I'd be absolutely delighted with that. Anything from about 7 or 8 points onwards, I think would be a really, really good result, especially considering that he's got a very nice double in game week 37. Arguably could be a captaincy option if you wanted to. And then Pukki, I know a lot of people are stressed because Norwich are now relegated and they've got nothing to play for. Sometimes in the past, we've seen that's actually relieved a little bit of stress and relieved a little bit of pressure. We've actually seen teams start to perform quite well. And to be honest, Norwich have pretty much been relegated for a few weeks anyway, and Pukki's recent data has still been very strong. He's still on penalties, and West Ham and Leicester have played quite a few games recently. Obviously, they're both in European competitions on Thursday evening, so it could potentially be that Pukki actually gets a little bit of joy against these two teams. And if he doesn't, and Schmeichel keeps a clean sheet, I guess I'm not too displeased there. Then moving on to the bench, Foster is the backup keeper. I'd prefer to have Pickford if I could choose, but to be honest, Foster against Crystal Palace and Everton is absolutely fine there for me. Alonso is currently on the bench. If Alonso starts both, he would never be on my bench. I'm fairly confident he misses one of these. He's just played so many minutes recently. Yes, he's pretty much their only left wing back position. They could easily drop to a back four against Leeds, especially if they win the game against Wolves. They've pretty much wrapped up top four at this point. So I'm putting Alonso on the bench because I think he'll only start one. If he starts both, then maybe he wasn't the correct person to put on the bench. But again, I'm playing the bench boost anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. The other two players are Gordon to start with, playing against Leicester away and Watford away. He is the perfect bench boost option. His recent data is so good. 0.5 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. Gordon is the ideal bench booster. And to be honest, if you're putting him in your starting 11 as well, he's still a great option. He's on a lot of set pieces, playing a very attacking role. He's absolutely inspiring the Everton team to hopefully, for Everton fans and Everton players, stay in the Premier League. So I think Gordon is a fantastic option. They are both away games, is the only slightly off-putting thing. And Everton have struggled a little bit away from home across the entire season. But again, with everything to play for against two teams that have not defended well across the season or in recent weeks, I'm hoping that Gordon can get maybe a goal and an assist, or maybe 2 assists. I'm hoping for a couple of attacking returns for him. And then Cash, I've got in there as the third and final one. Again, Cash and Watkins, not the best for this week, but really good options for 37. And I could quite easily see maybe a 0-0 sort of result against Burnley, quite easily. And if Cash can pick up a 6-pointer and a 1 or 2 pointer against Liverpool, again, I'd be really happy with that. So this is the 15. If my bench boost can get me 15 to 20 points, I would be absolutely delighted with that. Anything above 20 points is a massive result here. Like I said, 2 free transfers. Before I move on to doing a bit of live tinkering on FPL.team and showing you some of the possible transfers that I could make, please, please, please let me know down below. If you've never commented before, give it a go. It helps to feed the algorithm gods, boost the algorithm, and also I'm very interested to hear what you think. What would you do if this was your team, right? 0.2 in the bank, 2 free transfers. Gelhardt obviously needs to be upgraded. So I guess the first thing you decide, do you want to go Gelhardt to Nketiah, or do you want to go Gelhardt to Richarlison? Once you decide that, you know how much money you then need to find to either downgrade one of Havertz, Sterling, or potentially both of them. Like I said, current midfield options that I'm looking at are Saka, Diaz and Jota, maybe Foden in there as well. And then outside of that, if I want to go all the way down, I could go for the likes of KDH and Ramsey. But do let me know down below what you currently would do with my team. We're just going to have a quick word to Fantasypaedia, who are still creating some fantastic content over on Twitter. So guys, as I said, quick word to Fantasypaedia, still creating fantastic content over on Twitter. Please do go drop them a follow, go retweet their content, go like their content. Link in the description will take you not only to their Twitter page, but the second link will take you directly to this tweet. This is my favorite thread on Twitter at the moment. Every single week they do a chances conceded sort of mega thread for all of the matchups across that specific game week. And of course, in double game weeks, it's super useful because they look at both of the two teams that the player will be facing. So just as an example, as you can see here, starting with Liverpool, Liverpool's 2 fixtures are against Spurs and Villa. This shows where Spurs and Villa concede most of their chances from. So as you can see, this arrow's on sort of the left-hand side here. This suggests that Spurs concede most of their chances down their own right flank, where Doherty, Emerson Royal have been playing this season, which would suggest that the likes of Diaz, if he's playing out on the left, Mane could be a good option. Maybe if Jota floats out there as well, could be great options. And then against Villa, they concede most of their chances from their left-back role, which again is where the likes of Trent and Salah are operating. So realistically, the fixture that you want to target here is probably going to be the Villa fixture. And I'm looking at this and thinking Salah and Trent are really good options. Now, with chances conceded, right? It's a tricky one because this is where the team is obviously giving up a lot of space, but it's where you think, for example, if we're looking at Villa here, 104 chances conceded from that side of the pitch. Are you suddenly thinking to yourself, great, Salah and Trent are going to get a lot of space down that side? Or are you thinking, actually, Mane coming in at the back post could be a great option? So maybe we'll make a little prediction here. I'm saying that there could potentially be a goal against Aston Villa where Trent crosses to the back post and one of Jota or Mane score a goal. Right, that's the prediction we're going to make based on this data here. I'm going to clip this and I'm going to post it everywhere if that's correct. But this is what we're saying here essentially is that Villa are going to concede a lot of space or a lot of opportunities at least from their left-hand side, which is where the likes of Trent and Salah operate. And as a result, it could either be that they cross the ball to the back post or they get a couple of shooting opportunities. If we just scroll down a little bit, they've done this for every single fixture. We're only going to go through a few here. Manchester City's is a really tricky one to predict, right? Because against Newcastle and against Wolves, both of these teams concede chances from all over the place. So as you can see, Newcastle concede a lot of chances out wide, 124 and 126 on their respective wings. It makes it kind of tricky to decipher where they're going to concede their chances from against Manchester City. And then Wolves is even crazier. They concede an equal amount of chances in each of the thirds of the pitch. 104, 107, 106. This would suggest to me that the likes of Foden and KDB that drift a lot across that midfield, across the front three as well, they would be really good options this week because both of these teams are conceding a fair amount of opportunities and from all over the pitch. So those players that are really very good at drifting around and finding those pockets of space. I'm really thinking about KDB here. I do think could be a fantastic option, but there's no real standout here. And then the third and final one we'll look at here is Aston Villa's double. We've spoken about Aston Villa in a little bit of detail here. Really interestingly, again, you're going to be wanting to target that Burnley fixture. And Burnley concede a lot of chances down their left flank, which is, again, where Matty Cash is going to be popping up. So if you were looking at potentially bringing in Matty Cash and you wanted some confirmation bias, 143 chances conceded exactly where Matty Cash likes to operate on that right flank. So he could be a really, really fantastic option and maybe get an assist or a goal against Burnley. So there's lots more they go through every single fixture. So what I'd like you to do is go down below, click on their Twitter profile, make sure you follow them, then click on the individual tweet. Once you get to the tweet, what I'd like you to do is like it, retweet it. And once you've done those two things, drop a comment down below on that thread and let them know that FPL Raptor sent you. Completely free content, absolutely top tier content as well. Just go over and support some fellow content creators. They would absolutely very much appreciate it. So if you're new to this channel, this section of the video is significantly less formal. It's basically more like a live stream. I'm just going to tinker for 5 to 10 minutes with my team, show you what some of the possible transfer plans will be, because of course I've not made my final decision yet. But this, I think a lot of you like to tinker alongside me, and it's good to see my thought process kind of raw and unscripted, rather than me saying I'm going for this player and giving you no justification. So I'm going to give you a few different transfer plans. Let me know down below if any of these look really good to you. Let me know which one you like. And again, if there's any that I haven't spoken about that you think would be good for my team, I'm always interested to hear your thoughts down below. So this is the way that the team currently looks. By the way, I'm using fpl.team as the website. So just go to your URL and just type in fpl.team. Nice and simple. This is the way the team looks. 2 free transfers. Like we said, we've got 0.2 million in the bank, so plenty to play with. No, we're not really plenty to play with here, but we've got 2 free transfers. I'll be honest, at the moment, I think I prefer Richarlison to Nketiah. The reason for that is he's on penalties and he's got a double-double, and I don't mind the fixture. Obviously, they play against each other in 38. I don't mind if I have to start Richarlison there. I do think, obviously, it's a slightly better fixture for Nketiah, but again, if Everton are still fighting to stay up, that could be a decent fixture to have Richarlison for anyway. So I'm currently planning to get Richarlison in this role here, right? Now, what I need to find then is 2.7 million to do that. At the moment, I don't know why. I think I want to keep Sterling. I think, again, it is a little bit of playing continuation bias, a little bit of endowment, a little bit not wanting to take a hit as well. So if I do want to keep Sterling, I've pretty much got only one option here, and it's Havertz to Ramsey or Havertz to KDH. And I think I actually prefer, I don't know, Ramsey's data slightly better, but KDH obviously has a better fixture in 38 against Southampton at home. I would probably end up being Ramsey, but then I'm not sure that I really want triple Villa here. In fact, my bench would probably be triple Villa, and I'm just looking at that, it's just not great. So I guess if I want Richarlison, I don't really want to make this move, is what it's coming down to. Again, I'm thinking raw here. This is as I'm thinking it. Richarlison in and then getting Ramsey in. Is my bench really going to look like this then? In which case, that's a really naff bench boost, to be honest. Yes, I'll probably get them all playing, and I'll basically get It should be a minimum really of about sort of 10 to 12 points here, you'd hope, maybe pushing on 16, but I want to really try and optimize the bench as much as possible. And I've still then got Sterling and Mount as slight rotation risk, so I'm not sure how much I like that. So the other option I've got, if we just switch the team back into how it was, so like that, if I put Havertz back in there. So that's option one, right? Richarlison in for Gelhardt, and then Havertz down to either Ramsey or KDH. The other option I've got is Richarlison in, and then, like I said, I can just make 2 transfers instead. So I could do Havertz to Saka. Right, again, I think Saka's a fantastic option. He's not going to gain me much rank because he's so highly owned, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't just bring him in anyway. Bring Saka in for Havertz, and then I need to find 1.5 million. So I've basically got up to 9 million to play with to get rid of Sterling, and I think I might end up going for Jota. If you've watched FPL Black Box, Mark Subbins is very keen on Jota. He's obviously not had a great season this year, Mark, although he's still about 90k, which is crazy considering the amount of bad luck that that man has had. But I think he is a good option. And I think out of Jota and Diaz, I think Jota's slightly more likely to start both in this double. But to be honest, I'd probably want to hold these players for the season, and then Diaz would still be a decent option. So that's the other option I've got. For a -4 is to bring in Richarlison, Saka, and Jota for Gelhardt, Havertz, and Sterling. Of course, this Jota could be Foden, right? So it doesn't really matter too much, that third spot. It would be Richarlison and Saka would definitely be coming in if I do this. And then that third spot would be Diaz, Foden, could be Coutinho if I wanted, Jota, Maddison if I think he's fit and he's going to start both. So there are lots of different options that I've got there, but it is a -4 in that case. And then the final option that I've got, if I just put Sterling back in there, is rather than doing Richarlison, if I get Nketiah in that role for Gelhardt, I can then do Nketiah and Saka, and I've got 0.5 million in the bank there. So that is for free, just to recap, Gelhardt and Havertz out, and Nketiah and Saka in. I think that is probably quite a sensible move because, again, if we look at their fixtures for the remainder of the season, Leeds, Spurs, Newcastle and Everton, really nice fixtures in there. 2 home fixtures against 2 teams you would expect to concede. Spurs and Newcastle, pretty good defensively recently, but again, Saka's on penalties and Nketiah looks like he's going to continue to start. Hopefully he plays all 4 games if I do bring him in. That's the other option there. I just really, really want Richarlison. And I'm trying to think, is it worth sacrificing elsewhere to get Richarlison? And I think it is for me. I do really think that just with the fixtures that they've got, if we just have a look, because Gordon's fixture obviously going to be the same. Leicester, Watford, Brentford, Palace. Even Arsenal's not a terrible fixture. They're just such good fixtures. I think I want Richarlison in here. So I guess it's between 2 options. And if I do want Richarlison into my team, it's either going to be Richarlison, Saka, and then someone in this spot. Let's say Jota for now, because I think that's who I would be leaning towards. That would still give me 0.7 in the bank for a -4. Or I don't make that move. Keep Sterling. Hopefully this is clear, by the way. Sorry if it's been confusing for you. Keep Sterling, and then in this spot, I would just be bringing in Ramsey or KDH. Right? So it's for a -4, Richarlison, Saka, and an explosive midfielder such as Foden, Diaz, Jota. Or for free, Richarlison and Ramsey, and I keep Sterling. Let me know down below which of those you prefer. Let's say for now that we do all 3 moves, right? Let's say that I do Richarlison in. Let's say that I bring Saka into this role here. And let's say that I bring in someone like Jota here. I just want to show you what my team will look like for 37 and 38 and start to give you a bit of an idea about where I plan on potentially using some of my transfers in the future. So this is the way that the team would be set up for the bench boost if those are the transfers that I do make for my team. The bench would stay as it is. So my bench would be Foster, Cash, Gordon and Alonso. Hopefully get 15 plus points. Like I said, 20 plus points would be amazing. If I can achieve over 100, 110 points this week, I'd be delighted. But I'm slightly worried about potential rotation for some of my players. If we then skip ahead to game week 37 here, this is the way the team's currently looking. So doublers that I have at the moment are Schmeichel. If I bring the players in that I plan on, Schmeichel, Richarlison, Watkins, Cash, and Gordon, right? So there's 5 potential doublers in my team. If I just bring those players in, it would be probably for Pookie like that, and then it would maybe be for Laporte. So without making any transfers, this would be the way the team would currently look. I think I would be super tempted by potentially a -4, but what I would almost definitely do is probably Mount, although the fixture for Mount in 38 is really tricky, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I'd probably want to take Mount out here for someone like Coutinho or someone like Zaha, maybe even Maddison or Barnes if I wanted to. I'd want to go for one of the double game week midfielders, but then I look at that fixture in 38 against Watford, and I look at the fixture against Leicester. If Mount's rested against Leeds, and I think there's a good chance he starts against Leicester and Watford. I maybe don't want to make that move. So the other option that I've got is either just keep Mount in the starting 11, or I can still take Mount out of the starting 11. And then what I can do is I can switch out Pookie. So I've got 0.7 in the bank. So at this stage, I could bring in, who did Tony have? Against Everton could be a good one. The reason I say that is because, again, Brentford have Leeds in game week 38. I've got a few different options here. I think what I would want to do more realistically is I'd want to try and bring in a doubler. So I could potentially go for Mateta in this role, or I could just bite the bullet and go, do you know what? I'm still going to go for Zaha in that midfield. Let's hope, I guess, that Mateta starts both in the double. We'll just make that one move for now, which would give us 6 doublers for game week 37. It's decent. If you've got the free hit, you'll definitely be outscoring me this week, but I don't mind it at all. Captaincy would probably be on Richarlison, to be honest. I think I'd risk it on a double game week player. If we then skip ahead to game week 38, just to give you a bit of an idea about the way that the team might currently look, is we'll bring in Laporte for cash, we'll bring in Mount potentially for Mateta, and we'll probably bring in Alonso for Watkins. So I'd probably want to take either a -4 here, or maybe just use one transfer, and it would be to probably get in maybe Ivan Toney up top against Leeds. Like I said, I think that just looks like a really good fixture. It will depend on how much Leeds have to play for, but I think that's a decent transfer there. And then outside of that, I've just got potential moves elsewhere that I might want to make. It might be that I want to get Reece James in, because if Reece James starts against Watford at home on the final day, that looks like a really good fixture. So it might be, if I can afford it, something like cash to Reece James could be a really nice transfer there, and I'll line up something like this. If I just make those moves, so a 5-4-1 there, that could look really nice. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail on game week 38. It's so far away, but hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea about what my current plan is for 36, 37, and 38. I'm going to try and not take too many hits, but at the same time, I'm not afraid of hits, right? I'm not afraid of hits at all. So just to recap, because I really do want your opinions if possible, guys, this is the way the team's currently set up. Let me just get the bench boost in the way, like I said, it would probably be. It would be like that. Let's activate the bench boost so that you can see it in all of its glory. What would you do with this team? Please do let me know down below. 0.2 in the bank, 2 free transfers. Not afraid to take a -4, not afraid to take a -8 if you think it's a really good -8 here. Of course, Gelhardt needs to go to one of Nketiah and Richarlison for me. After that, who are you downgrading? How many players are you downgrading? And who are you bringing in? Please do let me know down below. So guys, there you have it. That is my Game Week 36 team selection video. Like I said, I haven't finalised my transfers, but if you do tune into tomorrow's deadline stream, of course, I'll be going through what transfers I've either made, or I'll maybe be making them live on the stream, and you'll get to see what my final bench boost team will look like. Like I said, if you do want any help down below, drop your comment, help each other out. Make sure you comment, make sure you reply to people, and I'll try and get through as many comments as possible. But also give me a bit of help if you can as well. Let me know what you would do with my team. Always interested to hear your thoughts down below, because I know a few of you, or many of you actually, have had absolutely cracking seasons. If you've enjoyed the content on this channel all season and you've enjoyed this video as well, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do massively appreciate the support. And do also check out Fantasypaedia, link in the description down below. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.